So I just kind of wanted to, want you to kind of introduce yourself, give us some background on who you are and some of the things you've, accomplished throughout the years.
My name is Juan Ye, producer from the Bronx, New York. Started out making beats, I want to say the end of 2010. I was going to college and I wound up just like kind of dropping out after like a year just to pursue music. I produced for a bunch of different artists, Tony Romiti, Dream Dog, P&B Rock, Jeremiah. Who else did I? That's just a few. But yeah, had a couple big records. Feelinz by P&B Rock. Had I'm a Dog Too by Tony Romiti. I did actually like a couple with her that blew up. We got the attention of like the Kardashians and the Jenners. They were loving her music. So it was like a time where like every week and it was just blowing up crazy. But yeah, that's it. That was about like 3 years ago that happened. So ever since then I've just been grinding, linking up with artists, doing a lot of like demos and like references to pitch to different artists and stuff like that. So that's what I've been kind of doing the past like year and a half. I've been doing that. So
Okay. So let's talk about how you started in the music business. Talk about what made you want to pursue being a producer. If that was your first, lane that you started in.
Okay. So I kind of always been like into music my whole life, kind of like I was always like a super fan of music, like just like in a different way, just like the beats and just lyrics, all of that. So when I was about, I want to say when I was probably like 7th, 8th grade, I started out. That was when I kind of got my first taste in music. Like I was doing, like I played the drums, so I was kind of like in a band with like me and my homeboys in junior high school, and that was basically just my first like taste of music. I was playing the bass drum and a little bit of the snare drum as well, and then that was it for that moment. And then I kind of like was into like dancing throughout my high school years, and then came back and fell back in love with like the process of music. I want to say like right before, like I want to say my freshman year in college, because my best friend at the time was making beats and stuff like that. So like I would like watch the process, and I was kind of just like intrigued by it. And yeah, just one day, just going home. I was going home from class one day, and I bumped into Russell Simmons, and it kind of was like an eye opener for me. Like I wanted to like it was crazy because it was like he was just on the street and he looked so regular at first that I kind of just like bumped, like I just went right by him. I didn't even almost notice him. I was like, it's like, man, was that Russell Simmons just now? And I turned around and he was just like getting in a Maybach. And that kind of was like an eye opener. I was just like, wow, like look at this dude. Like he kind of looks like he could be like my uncle or something like that, And he wasn't dressed fancy. He didn't have any bodyguards with him, and he just hopped in like $1 million car. And from there, it just like I had an epiphany. And that whole train ride, I was just brainstorming like, yo, what could I do to like change, like just like basically just to like contribute, to something. And I just started thinking about things that I was really like into. I was into dancing and I was already doing that, but then I was just like, I love music, and I'm also like a nerd in a sense too. So I was like, I could probably do something like, with a computer, but just giving back in a way like, with music. So I just thought about music production. And I was like, man, this could be like my chance, to really like give back and have an impact on culture, make history and inspire others, And yeah, by the time I got off that train ride, it was like an hour-long train ride. By the time I got off, I kind of figured out what I wanted to do for the rest of my life, And I ran it by Mom Dukes and everything like that, my stepfather, and they were a little bit supportive, but like they was pushing me more to finish college. That was their number one thing. You know, go to school, finish college, you know, get your degree and everything. And so she wasn't too fond of it, but she was still like, all right, cool. Like it's something that like you like to do, so you could just do that on your free time whenever you're not in school. But make sure that you keep your head in the books. And it was too much for me to juggle at the time, you know. And yeah, I couldn't focus. And I just wound up, you know, just saying, you know what, like this is really what I want to do for the rest of my life. So I'm gonna put my all to this. And, you know, eventually I wound up, you know, not going back. And I was just like, all right, if I'm not gonna go back, I definitely need to go like extra hard, you know, like this is it. And and yeah, and that was basically it. It was no looking back from there. Like I was just like, you know, there's no plan B. You know, I love this too much, you know, and if I'm gonna dedicate the next couple years, you know, then I really need to go hard with this. And that's what I did. Now, you know, 9 years later, well, just about 9 years, you know, here I am still doing it.
So
That's
I want
go ahead, bro. My bad. Go ahead.
I wanted to ask him a question before you go to the next question.
Go ahead.
What was one of the kind of best situations you were in, but became not really a bad situation, but you're older now, and if you were still in that situation, what would you have done different? Like prime example, like if you can explain to the viewers, like the camp you was under with Jennifer Lopez and stuff like that, with J-Lo, and stuff like that. You know, just the process on you maturing as a businessman, as a producer. You know what I'm saying? If you could turn back the hands of time, what would you tell yourself?
Right. Okay. Well, the very, very first situation I was in, before I get into that situation with the J-Lo camp and everything, it was I want to say 2012, and I had like me and my best friend, he's a rapper as well, and he basically, this is somebody that's different. I had two best friends at the same time. This is somebody that was different than the producer that when I was making beats that inspired me to like kind of get into it. But my other best friend, he was a rapper, and we had a situation where one of our homeboys actually interned at Blast Off Studios in Manhattan, and that's even to this day, if I'm not mistaken, I think that's where PNB recorded our record at. But it's a really big studio. And they had like a bunch of people, like Drake was, you know, Drake used to come through, Soldier Boy at the time. This was like 2010, around that time, like 2009, 2010. And a bunch of artists were going there. So we had an opportunity where like our boy, you know, he was interning there. And we were going there late night, basically for free. And I feel like we didn't really like take advantage of that situation. You know, we're in this like huge studio with all like literally the biggest artists are like down the hall from us, you know, and you know, we had the little room. They gave us the little room that we could just rock out in and we could just create and just, you know, and we didn't take advantage of that situation. And when I look back at it now and how hard it is to get a situation like that, especially at a studio like, you know, at like Glassdoor, it's just like, man, why didn't I like, if I had that same like now, oh man, I could only imagine what I'll be doing, you know. So yeah, that was just one. That was like the early situation that happened that I regret, and I'm just like, man, like we worked, but there'd be times that we was there from like 9 at night to like 5 in the morning, and we would get like one song done. And I'm like, man, if I had that time now, I would probably get
Right.
10 songs done, you know. Um, so yeah, that was that situation. But the J-Lo camp, so it was Corey Rooney actually, which is he's a big time producer, songwriter, from I want to say like the late 80s, early 90s, and he's the one that basically like he's behind a lot of big hits like Mary J, Mariah Carey. He even worked with, you know, Michael Jackson, R. Kelly, 50 Cent, J-Lo, you know, a bunch of people. And gave like you could say he gave J-Lo like all her big hits, and
Right.
he found me in 2014. My boy from New York, he actually flew to LA to play some music that we had did for him, and there was another person in the situation named Lisa. Lisa was my boy's aunt, but she also wound up being one of my managers. So her and Corey wanted to basically do like a joint management where they both like help manage me, and they wanted to like fly me and my partner out to LA, and they wanted to sign us, and um yeah, and that's basically what happened. They flew us out to LA couple months later, and we were working on a bunch of stuff. We was working mainly on my boys' music, but we did have opportunities to like work on like stuff for like J-Lo and submit for that, submit for her. And we were with him for about 2 years, and I learned a lot. That situation, I don't like it. I don't want to say like it turned out like bad, because it's not like he really did anything that to kind of like screw us over or anything like that. It was just
Yeah.
it was just basically like a like lack of attention. Like he wasn't really paying us any mind after a while. Like after like the first year, things kind of just started like slowing down, and he had like other things on his plate, which is it's definitely understandable now. When I look back at it now and I think about it now, and it's just like he's a producer first. It's not like he was just a manager. He was a producer first, and he was working, and that kind of just taught me like to not really sign under somebody that's like a creative as well, because they might have a little bit too much on their plate at the moment. And basically that's just what happened with that situation. And I wound up leaving him after like 2 years, and we're still in contact to this day. I spoke to him not too long ago, and he was, he wanted me to like send records over for like these pop artists that he's working on and stuff.
You see how extremely important that is, not to burn a bridge in this industry. Like that's a key thing what you said, like we still in contact to this day, and how it comes back full circle. Now he's reaching back out and wanting you to send beats and stuff like that, right? I know you personally, right? So like you've been around some dope icon executives, right? So about the management with JoJo Brim and Kevin Lyles and you with 300, touch on that, how dope that was just to see them navigate and work the artists and the producers from their mindset on how dope they are. Like Kevin Lyles and JoJo, how just, JoJo Brim's responsible for Mary, a lot of shit, you know what I'm saying? And Kevin Lyles, that's the GOAT. So
Right.
tell viewers, just when you're around iconic people, should you absorb the knowledge, or should you just not pay attention to them?
No, definitely you gotta observe. Like when I got with him, well, with JoJo and Kevin, that was like fresh off the Corey Rooney situation, and I got with them in 300, and also KWL as the management, and things started out real cool. It was a lot going on over there as well. So like in both of these situations, where with Corey Rooney and with Kevin Lyles and JoJo Brim, it just I had to, the whole time I would always just keep grinding, no matter what situation I was in. I always felt like I had to just do everything on my own. I'm a person that I don't really like to ask for favors too much. So when I got with them, I was just like, you know what, like, this is not just a situation where it's like, all right, I can fall back, and I'm with a good team right now, and they can do everything for me. It was like, all right, I still gotta show and prove myself. I'm still, a producer that's just starting out. So when I got with them, I had gotten the P&B Rock situation. Before them, I was already doing the Tony Romiti situation, which that was all me just reaching out to her. And then I had the P&B Rock situation right after that. So I just kept on grinding. But being around them, I definitely just like learned a lot about just like the music industry and the music business and how people, how people navigate in the industry and everything like that as well. Um, and yeah, just looking back, like the situation when you're in it, it's just like it's kind of frustrating because it's not much going on and you're still like, you're still like literally doing everything on your own. But now looking back on it, I could say that I learned some things from it. I learned how to I just learned about like how people could be in the industry, and that's not with them. It wasn't like they were like they were treating me badly, but it was just just different things I would see when I would go to the offices and how they would treat you know artists when they come through, and just how they would lay out like the red carpet, and it's like, yo, like this is what we focused on right now. This is, Young Thug would go and then the whole building is shut down. Like they don't want nobody in that building when Young Thug is there. There was meetings that I had that they was like, you know what, we gonna push this back to tomorrow because Young Thug is here and we gotta do this and that. We gotta, he's about to drop his album, so we got a game plan and we got to do this, we gotta do that. So yeah, it was cool. And then they also try to like put together like certain situations for producers as well, me and others. And they tried to do like things where we would just like submit beats, to them like every week, and then they would try to like get them over to the artists that are over in 300. And yeah, it was a couple different situations over there. Like it was a lot going on over there as well. And because I'm still up and coming, like I said, um it was a little bit difficult because I needed a team that was solely focused on me. You got Kevin Lyles and JoJo Brim, and they were also helping with management with Trey Songz. So you got Trey Songz over there, you got London on the track over there, you have Young Thug, you have all these big these big names, and I'm still trying to like fight through and push through. So it was a little bit frustrating because I just needed somebody that was just focused on me. But other than that, it wasn't the worst situation in the world. There's definitely been producers that have been in like way worse predicaments. And yeah, when I was through with that, when I was done with that situation, they let me walk away. Um, no bad blood. I'm still cool with them to this day. It's still all love every time I see them. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
It sounds like you experienced a lot throughout that, as far as just time management, learning the management side, the production side, and just getting with
Yeah.
the big names. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
a blessing right there. But I want to kind of get into talking about your process and making beats and kind of like what you do.
So yeah, I use FL Studio. That's my go-to right there. I've been using that since the beginning. Only that. Um, I also have a MIDI keyboard right here that I use uh for different purposes. For the most part, starting off like my process, it just depends on the mood that I'm in. It depends on what kind of beat I'm trying to make at the moment. Um, I might use samples, where I might chop up a old school song, or uh, even if it's just like maybe like just like some loops and stuff like that, like chop them up and maybe like flip it and to my own liking, and then yeah, then I just make to start with the drums after that, just some hi-hats, and then I might go into the kick. It's really different with each beat, honestly. It just depends on like what inspires me first, because I might hear some drums first that I like, or I might come up with a crazy drum pattern that I like, and I just might be like, all right, cool, this is what I could rock with, and then I might want to throw like a melody or a sample on top of that. Or like I said, it could be the other way around. I just get a dope sample or something like that, or a dope melody. My partners I got a production team as well. So they might send me some loops, or they might send me some samples, some ideas, and I might just go over that, and then I might add whatever comes to mind. The drums, if I want to add the drums, I might send it back to them, and and they'll finish. They'll send some. They'll work it. They'll work on it, or they'll send it off to my other partner. And, it just depends. Every beat is different, literally. So.
Okay. So you work with other producers as well. You guys kind of just working as like a coalition almost.
Yeah, basically, yeah. So
Okay.
I have my own production team called the Frat House,
Okay.
and officially it's 3 of us. I always wanted to keep it that way, just us 3, and it's I have a partner out in Japan. We met off of YouTube. I want to say like 2013, and then I have my other boy, Jay West. He was also a part of the Corey Rooney J Lo situation, and we had the team before Jay West was down with us, and then I wound up putting Jay West down when we was out in LA. I was like, man, listen, we doing all this work, we out here for 3 months, we just be making beats every single day with each other. So I'm just like, you know what, like you might as well just join the team. And how I picked them is, I knew that not only were they talented, but they did things that I didn't do, and that's typically what you want to do when you're starting like a team or something like that. You want to get people that can't do things that you can do, and it just adds to the team. They have to bring something to the table, and that's what I felt was the situation with them. That's how I felt it was. Like they definitely brought something to the situation. They definitely brought something to the table that I didn't do. Somebody might be good at the time, maybe 808s was their specialty, and yeah, I was just like, you know what, like I can't do 808s and maybe the drums like you can do, but I could structure a beat. I could structure the hell out of a beat. I could come up with some crazy concepts and some crazy ideas, and then maybe my other boy was good at playing piano, so I would put him down. Hey, join the team because you're nice with the keys. So yeah, that's how we started with the whole frat house situation. And then I have other producers outside of that, not too many, but I have a handful of producers outside of that that I rock with as well. Maybe like a good like 5 or 6, and they the only ones that I really like would work with like outside of my production team.
Definitely. Everybody has to be unique at what they do and bring something different to the table. Um, so when you're in the studio, how do you prepare yourself to make a beat? Like what's your process to get ready, get the creative juices flowing?
Okay. Well, for the most part, it's me just listening to music, honestly. It's me listening to music, and I don't listen to much new music. Like I've never kind of like I love the 80s and the 90s and the early 2000s so much that like I don't even really listen to the music that's coming out now too much. Like here and there I might listen to it, but like if you check like my iTunes or like my Spotify title, like it's mainly just like older records that came out over 10 years ago. Like I said, early 2000s, the 80s, the 90s, some from the 70s. Like so I just vibed out, I just may throw on a playlist depending on how I feel that day. I might just throw on a playlist and just kind of just like get some ideas like that, and just listening to music period just inspires me so much that I don't even have to hear anything specific. Just me just vibing out, and I'm just like in that groove now. Now I'm just like, all right, you know what? Like I think that I'm ready to go and make something like. But I only create when I'm inspired. I don't like to force it. I don't like to just, if I'm in the house and I'm like chilling and I'm laying down, I don't like to just like jump up and be like, all right, I'm gonna make a beat. I usually wait for something that inspires me, and it could be something that I'm watching on TV. I could be watching a movie, and then I'll just pause the movie, like, you know what, like, kind of feeling inspired right now, and then I'll just get up and I'll just start working.
Okay. Now, does anything outside of music inspire you? You know what I mean? That will inspire the music as well.
Outside of music, I mean, when it comes to like, like I said, like movies and stuff like that, if I'm watching movies, if I'm watching like something on like YouTube or something like that, stuff like that inspires me. When the weather's nice, like I'll take like a walk sometime. and I just might go on a walk, just like vibe out, listen to music, just just observing different things around me, my surroundings, that might inspire me. And then like other things like obviously like my family, my family, my friends, they inspire me. Um, Definitely like the supporters. Just I want to say the supporters are probably the people that support me the most. I mean, the inspire me the most. Sorry, they inspire me the most. So yeah, like anytime that I like would go on like maybe Twitter or my Instagram or something like that, or even like how you started off saying that the PNB Rock record helped you get through like a breakup, like things like that like truly inspire me because it's like I'm just a kid from the Bronx, so for me to have an effect on different people around the world, it's like it's crazy. I watch you know I watch people like, Jay-Z, Pharrell, Diddy inspire me growing up. So like I know how that feeling is to look at somebody like, yo, wow, like you created something, you made something that, that changed my life or got me through, a hard time in my life. So when people look at me that way and they say, man, listen, that record that you did with, with this artist, yeah, that was one of my favorite records for a whole year. I listened to that record every single day. It helped me get through, some rough times. I've probably had there was people that hit me up and was saying that that they were going through a rough breakup or they they didn't want to be here anymore. They wanted to, commit suicide, but like my music helped them get through that rough time. It helped them get over that breakup. It helped them like, feel a little bit better about themselves. And I always said if I could change one person's life, if I could do it for one person, then it makes it all worth it.
Most definitely, most definitely. So let's get back on the production side. So, any suggestions with these producers when it comes to mixing and mastering their beats?
Say that one time, you broke up.
I'm sorry. Any suggestions with producers on mixing and mastering?
Mixing and mastering. Well, I mix when it comes to my beats, for the most part, I mix them myself. Um, I mix them in FL. As I'm going along with the beat, I just kind of mix. And when I go to the studio, the engineer, he might mix it a little bit more. If I give him like the stems for the record, it depends on how it is. But even if I give him the 2-track, he might kind of like tweak it a little bit. He might, if the bass is not right, or if it's not loud enough, he might, raise the low ends. So yeah, I just kind of mix, like I don't really do anything too crazy, which is, when you think about it, people like, they say like even with the PNB Rock record, like yo, like the way that it sounds, like it sounds like you mixed it crazy, like the mix on that is ridiculous, and I'm just like, I ain't really do it. When it comes to me, the most important part is the levels. So that's like a secret that I have. Like the with me, it's more about just like balancing out the levels of each sound, and I feel like that's basically like the main. That's the main thing
For
when it comes to
for
mixing beats.
for people who are just now about to want to be inspired producers, up and coming producers. I'm talking about young kids like 15, 14, 16.
Uh-huh.
Break down what FL is and what stems is.
What FL is and what?
Break down the full word of what FL is and what stems is.
Okay, cool. So FL is Fruity Loops. The program that I use. And stems is basically like the files of the beat that you made or the record that you made. So it will basically be, the kick is one file and then the 808 is another file. The melody is another one, like that. So you basically just break the beat down so that when you bring it to the studio, you have full control. If you want to, raise the level on the kick, you could do that easily. If you want to raise the level on the melody, you could do that easily. Like, it just gives you more control because you're literally able to control each sound that's in the beat. So that's basically what the stems are.
And when is it that you break down stems? Is when someone buys it full out or for a record label or something like that?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, absolutely. So every producer, does it differently. Me personally, I do it when the artist buys the beat exclusively or the label as well. They buy the beat, and then I'll give them the stems. But usually when I do just like leases or like depending on because even with exclusives, I want to say it really just depends on the situation. They'll have full control for the most part, but sometimes even at that point, I don't even really I don't really send out stems too often. It really just depends on the record. It depends on the artist as well, and if we work out a situation where it's like, all right, cool, I want to buy it exclusive, we put it in a contract, and it's like, all right, I'm having like full control over this production. Then yeah, obviously, they'll get the stems as well. But each situation is different. But that's for the most part, that's when they get the stems. They gotta buy it outright. They gotta, I mean, not outright, but they gotta buy the rights, exclusively.
Okay. Okay. Now, I want to ask you a question about like just using unique sounds or using unique objects to make beats. Have you ever done anything like that? Because like Ryan Leslie used a cup of change one time and things like that. Like, have you ever done anything like that?
I'm sure when I first started, because like when you first start, I don't know, you kind of just I feel like when you first start, you're experimenting so much. Like you're trying to find your sound so much is that like you kind of just like using anything at that point. You just like, you know what, like I'm gonna use this and that. I get like that here and there, even still to this day, but it was more back then that I would do things like that. Like I would record a sound on my phone and then send it to the computer. But now I kind of find sounds unless something literally comes to me, then I'll use it. But for the most part, like I have so many sounds on my computer that like I get inspired by just like flicking through some stuff, and I just might hear some random sound. I have hundreds of thousands of sounds, so I kind of just like always find something new, and I find a way to like flip it and make it different some way somehow.
So what I want to do, Zach, I know you got more questions. I want to turn up for a second just to show people, right?
How you make the beats?
Just make some beats, make something real quick, or do something, play us something, whatever, so we can turn up for the viewers so they can see just the process and walk it through. You know what I'm saying? Like a tutorial.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I got this. Like a. All right, so basically, I had an idea to sample 21 Questions by 50 Cent, right? So I downloaded the instrumental, and then I also downloaded this it was like a cover almost by like this group. I don't even know where they're from, but I just found it on YouTube, and I was listening to it, and I'm just like, there was certain things that like inspired me. I'll play it real quick. Okay, cool. So can you hear it?
Yeah, Gary.
I just wanna chill and twist the life. Dressed in 745. You drive me crazy, shoulder back. Need to see you up there next to me. I forgot Be with me tonight, like it's not, I don't wanna see you cry. This is what I got, that's the night. Hope you can come up with the answers, baby. You see you love me now, you love me if I was down, would you feel that love for me?
So basically, I listened to that, and that inspired me. I was just like, what? That sounds crazy. So I wound up like chopping it up a little bit to use and mix into the the original sample for 21 Questions, right? So when I did that, when I chopped up whatever I had from that, I came up with this. So that was just like a little like just me messing around where basically I just chopped up their sample and I pitched it up and speeded it up a little bit. And then I'll show you how it came out, the whole thing. But that's really, for the most part, that's really all I took from them. Like I wanted to like a nice little intro. Something's playing. Okay, that's playing. Okay, so what is going on? Okay, now I see what I did. My fault.
Nah, you good. You good.
Now we good.
Yeah, that's hot right there. That's hot right there.
So yeah, that's something I made yesterday, but just messing around, chopping it up the samples. I'll show you real quick. Just like the parts of the song that I use. So right here I used a part of the 21 Questions sample, and basically like just like added like a filter and just like drop some sounds out, but and then so that was one part I used, and then I used this part. So, and then the third part that I used was like which is like a breakdown part. So basically, like I would use those, like I chop those up, and then I had those at first, and then I added and then I had the drums. So And then down here is the hi-hat. So and then I had one more drum pattern over here, which was like the breakdown drum pattern. And then all together, we have and that's it. So, like I said, each record is like different. With this one, I started out with the original 21 question sample. I chopped that up, threw some drums on it, and then I went on YouTube and I found that cover that band had did, and basically wanted to use a little bit of what they did as like an intro, but then like, you know, pitch their voice up a little bit, throw a filter on it so that like you hear it but you don't hear it at the same time, and yeah, and that's it. So
That's dope. That's dope.
yeah,
That's dope. Yeah, I like the production. That was sweet right there, man. Then you broke down the
thank
whole
you.
thing. That was sweet right there.
Yeah.
Nah, real talk, because that kind of give people kind of like insight on the look, the setup, the whole thing, because
Right.
definitely needed. Yeah, man, real talk. And what program was that you was using again?
That was FL Studio, Fruity
Okay,
Loops.
that was free. Okay, cool. So how do you budget out your production? Let's kind of get into that. Like, like, is there like, I know it's not a base price, but
Right.
how would you budget out your production?
Well, basically I have my price and I kind of just like stick to it for the most part. Sometimes, depending on the artist, depending on the situation, they'll come to me and they'll let me know, all right, cool, I want to work with you. My budget is not crazy, but this is what and then I basically just go off of that. And sometimes I even work out deals. Somebody comes to me and they say, yo, I have this amount, I might just be like, you know what? All right, cool. We can maybe do like 2 records for that amount, or we might be able to do 3 records for that amount. It just depends on the artist, on the level they're at as well. If it's a big artist, if it's a mainstream artist, it just depends. Maybe an independent artist just starting out, where they might only have, maybe like $300, $400, to start off with, and I might just cut them a deal and just say, you know what, all right, cool. This is what we could do for $300. This is what we could do for $400. But yeah, for the most part, it just depends on the situation, depends on the artist.
Okay. Now talk about publishing and how you get paid on the back end.
Okay, so with publishing, basically, you register your records on like ASCAP, BMI, any kind of PRO, and what they do, they collect your royalties. So if your music is streaming, Spotify, Tidal, Apple Music, YouTube, any of those like platforms, they basically just go in and collect your royalties. Then you also have oh man, what's this one? I just blanked out. It's another site that you go to, but they're another organization that they collect like your mechanical royalties as well. And just from like sales and whenever your music is getting paid on the radio, things like that. But it's also all about what you negotiate to collect from that record as well. So depending on your percentage that you have on that record, it depends on like how much you get paid. And but those are like some organizations that collect your royalties. So, but you can get royalties through anything, through syncing as well. Which syncing is basically when you get like placements um on like movies, video games, commercials, things like that. You can collect on that as well. So Yeah, there's many different ways. I mean, it's the opportunities are so endless nowadays, especially with the internet. It's like it's so many ways to make music. I mean, to make money off of music now. Like it's almost endless. So just all about like, just putting yourself out there, networking, meeting people, and yeah, just getting them, from hopefully them doors open where, you can have just different opportunities like seeking placements and just or placements with big artists and stuff like that as well.
Cool. Now let's talk about Seeing Sound Records, and let's talk about everything you got going on over there. And especially how you came up with the name. I'm interested to see Seeing Sound. That's interesting. Usually it's hearing sound. So
Yeah. So I originally had came up with the name came the name was inspired by, all right, so one of my inspirations is Pharrell and NERD. So basically they had an album that they put out a couple years ago, I want to say like early 2000s, and it was called Seeing Sounds. So that's initially where like just the name just like popped up, like for me a couple months ago as I'm listening to the album. Um, the term is a term that's been used for years, and it comes from synesthesia, which is like it's like a condition that some people have, not like any kind of bad condition, but where people they hear sounds and they see colors, and it's a rare condition. Not everybody can I mean, and even to be a part of the label, you don't have to have synesthesia. Like it's not like that. That's just where the name and the idea, behind the name came from.
most definitely.
So yeah, that's how I came up with the name. I was listening to that album, and yeah, some people, like I personally have it where like I kind of hear sounds and see colors as well. It's not like some people have different levels of it where it's like intense, and it's not like super intense with me, but it does happen, especially when I'm just like zoned out and I'm just like I got my eyes closed and I'm just like listening to music, and it kind of comes like just naturally. So that's initially where the name came from.
Okay. Now, do you have any artists signed to you, or are you doing anything like that right now, or?
So right now, I don't have anybody officially signed to me because I'm still handling like the staff. I wanna get the staff because just to run a label, you need a team. You definitely need a team. So I'm getting that together right now, and I have a couple artists that I have my eye on. I spoke to a couple artists that are definitely down. They love the vision. I definitely want it to be a unique experience, for both the fans and the artists that are part of the label. I don't want it to be like a traditional label. You know how traditional labels are ran, and I don't even want to just have artists as a part of this. I want people from all aspects of art to be a part of the label. So any kind of art, any kind of creating that you do, this will be the place for you. It doesn't matter if you do graphic designing, doesn't matter if you physically paint, you know, it's a home for everybody, and I just want it to be like a dope experience for, just anybody who's creative, period.
All right. So this is the last question, and thanks for finishing up with me. But is there any advice you would give your younger self?
Any advice that I would give my younger self? Basically just learn the business early, the business part of it early, because that's the part that I feel like I kind of caught on a little bit too late. Not too late, but later in my career. I didn't start paying attention to the business part until I want to say like 20 2016, 2017, after I was doing the stuff with Tony Romiti. That situation, it kind of like helped me like just put everything in perspective. And I was just like, oh man, like I really gotta learn like this business part is no joke. Like I really gotta learn, this business part. And I'm still learning to this day, but yeah, I would definitely tell my younger self to focus on that early. Like, you could be creative, make 1,000 beats a day, but also educate yourself on this business because it's businesses.
Yo,
If you're not educated on this business, it could eat you alive.
so before we sign off, bro, you gotta play In My Feelings, but before you play In My Feelings, you gotta play a complete record of something else that we could vibe to and then switch it up to In My Feelings. And we get off. I know you got catalogs, dog. So let's play a complete record. No beat, a complete record with the singer, whoever. Let's hear that. Let's get into that.
Oh, so you want some exclusive?
Yeah, some exclusive. He said, okay. I don't know about that one.
I'll do
You ain't even gotta play the full thing. You could go up to 30 seconds.
All right, it's loading up. I'm just trying to think about which one I'm gonna play.
It was like a movie scene. I had her my student door in the middle of stroking. She saw I had her wide open. Damn, I just can't believe this caught us right on the floor in the middle of fucking. She knew I was up to something. Yeah, she saw my pennies on her couch. Had my name all in her mouth, but that she was too big off from what's longer. Yeah, she caught her nigga busting out with my finger in her mouth. Couldn't lie, cause she taught me honest. Yeah, shawty pulled up a shawty, that she tryna catch a body, wanna make it catch a bodies, yeah. Shawty come in with a body, started getting sloppy, man, I thought this was shopping. She had it all, I got her involved into it. She ain't fucking right, but I thought I didn't right, but I didn't know I had the door. All that was when I started trying, said I get up in her eyes, and that's 'cause they fucking right.
Yeah, that's a little reference that we did. I want to say about like 2 months ago.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that track's hot.
I like that melody. I like the melody.
Yeah, so
hot.
I just send them to my writers, and they just be locking in, just write whatever, come up with whatever, and that's really it. Just coming up with ideas. And
Let's cap it off with the Philadelphia homie.
Copy, got you right now. Hold on.
Yeah. Oh, I wanna know who you be calling, who you be texting, who you be on your phone. So why you flexing? You got my message, but I ain't stressing. You be thinking you low, and you think I don't know. Girl, it's somebody next to you that's hating on me. I don't know what they telling you. They don't know me. I just fucked up a check for you. I got money, so you know it's next to you. And you look at me, so I'm looking at sex. And I'm looking at sex. So, yeah, got a nigga in my feelings. No, they sitting in the same, no. You so distant, no, you miss how I be thugging. On my hood shit, girl, I miss how we be fucking. And you ain't my bitch, got a nigga in my feelings. No, they sitting in the same, no. You so distant, no, you miss how I be thugging. On my hood shit, girl, I miss how we be fucking. And you ain't my bitch, got a nigga in my feelings.
Yeah, salute.
All right, perfect. Perfect, man. Well, thank you so much for your time, brother. Rome, you good?
Thank you. I appreciate
Big
you.
shout out, man. Round of applause, brother. I appreciate you, bro.
Appreciate
Yeah,
it.
man.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
man.
Thank you. I
Much
appreciate
success
that.
to you too, brother. Much success to you too, brother.
Thank you. I appreciate it, man. Y'all stay up. Y'all stay safe, man.
Okay,
Yeah,
brother.
y'all stay safe too. Family,
Okay,
stay safe
now.
too, bro.
All
You
right,
too, bro.
all right.
Okay, now. Peace.
All right.